Hello and welcome to the Experiencing Love podcast. I'm your host, Philip Jocks, and I'm so glad that you're here. I hope you listened to yesterday's episode and you spent a little bit of time spreading and asking for forgiveness. I found that when I did that for myself, first and foremost, I felt so much better. I feel so much better now. I feel better because it puts me in a state of love. Not just an emotion, but a state of being. It's a feeling as though I exude love. I exude love in my actions, in my thoughts, in my words, in my energy. Everything I do comes from love. And from that place, it gives me a level of strength that I may not otherwise have. I love that level of strength because it's what helps me show up as the best version of myself, for myself. And if I show up as the best version of myself, I can show up as that for other people when there are challenges around, or when I myself just need to pick me up. I've been going back and forth recently with sleep schedules and getting to bed on time, part of it being this whole screen time addiction and using my phone or my computer late into the night, and simply that screen is what keeps me awake. But from that place of love and strength, I had the power to take action, to do something different, and set myself up for success. I ended up setting up an automation on my computer that, whether I want it or not, my computer will automatically go to sleep at midnight. It'll go to sleep, shut my screen down, and for the time being, it's only sleep. Like, I could turn it back on if I quote-unquote need to. But if I find that I take advantage of that, I have the option to shut my computer down completely. So every night, my computer will just shut down at midnight, whether I'm ready or not, and I just have to deal with it. Now, mind you, I set up notifications along the way so it warns me, 15 minutes in advance, maybe 5 minutes in advance, that my time is almost up. So it's not a surprise. And I do that so that I don't lose my work, but that I know that it's time to get serious. I did that last night with that love and the strength I had, and I had a wonderful night. After doing that and seeing that I still wasn't tired immediately, which was expected, I just pulled out a book and I think I read for like an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe. And it won't be like that forever because as my body adjusts again, I'm going to go to bed earlier and wake up earlier. But I was just grateful for that opportunity that I gave myself. I gave myself the opportunity to forgive the people in my life. You have that same opportunity. Whether you took it yesterday or not is neither here nor there, because you can always make that choice today. Forgiveness is not a one-time thing. Maybe you did forgive someone yesterday, or you did forgive yourself yesterday, but just a heads up, you and the people around you are going to keep making mistakes, and it's going to require even more forgiveness in the future. What causes resentment and pain and frustration in relationships is when mistakes stack on top of each other. And I say mistakes, not that what we do is wrong, but maybe it's better to say it's a miss, right? You didn't land properly, and doing it once or twice, that's okay. But oftentimes in relationships, we let those stack on top of each other until any negative emotions start building. The antidote to that is forgiveness. It's taking a moment to look at those around you and say, I'm sorry. Will you forgive me? I forgive you. Then there's another side. Then there's what happens when we do get upset. I make sure to tell people that there's nothing wrong with getting upset or even getting angry, because those are emotions, and emotions happen chemically. They happen fast. We can't always stop ourselves from feeling a certain way, but we can control how we react to our emotions. It's not wrong to feel angry or upset, but acting on them is a different thing. Acting on your anger and hurting the people around you or hurting yourself, now that requires an apology. You need to apologize to yourself for reacting. You need to apologize to anyone you've hurt. When I say you need to, it has little to do with the benefit other people get and more to do with the benefits you get. Because whether you apologize or not, it's up to another person to forgive you or not. Just because you apologize doesn't mean you're forgiven. And that has nothing to do with you. But I find that simply the act of being in the pattern of asking for forgiveness and noticing when you react out of anger and aggression and being upset, It helps you be more aware to notice it and to do it less later. It's not about stopping completely. It's about choosing what to do in those moments. And like with anything, it's a skill to build. You have to practice it. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's best when you take action immediately when you notice. It might be hours later at first, maybe even days later, but eventually it'll become less than an hour. Then it may become half an hour, 15 minutes. Then it'll be a couple minutes, and if you really practice this, it could become seconds or in the moment. In the moment, you can realize when you're reacting, and you just stop yourself. You stop yourself, apologize to yourself for reacting out of fear, out of anger. Because when you react out of that aggression, it's not from a place of love, it's from a place of fear, deep inside. That fear is simply used to make us feel weaker. And the weaker we feel, the easier it is to feel that aggression and that pain. That love that I was mentioning before from forgiveness, or should I say the strength that I was feeling from the love and forgiveness, that's powerful. And the more you practice that love, the more often you can feel strong. You can feel powerful. And it's not the power that controls other people. It's the power where you can control yourself. The power where you can influence the way you think. It's only through that influence where you can actually influence those around you. When you become this way, people want what you have. People want to think the way you do and act the way you do. They may not realize the practice and the effort that you put in to get to where you are, and they may choose to follow, they may choose not to. But it is admirable to do this work on yourself, to focus on yourself, to love yourself, so that you have more to give to those around you. At the thought of sounding like a broken record, I may just pause here and switch gears a bit. By now, you know how important forgiveness is, and I'm confident that you're going to do something about it. Maybe it won't be immediately, but at least the seed is planted in your mind. Speaking of planting seeds in our mind, I wonder what seeds you need planting right now. I wonder what's going on in your life that you maybe haven't given quite enough focus to. And simply turning your attention there plants the seed that you're ready to change something. Part of experiencing love, not just this podcast, but in life, is all about embracing and accepting change. Life is all about change, and if we don't choose to change, life will bring that change for us. I just rather be in control of that change. So I'm constantly looking to change things around. I'm constantly looking for change because I acknowledge that I am not perfect. So there's always something to improve, something to make better. But despite this, I make sure to be careful to still take a moment and notice what I'm doing well and what is working and what doesn't need to change right now. I noticed this pattern that I was going through over the last few weeks where I would only focus on the things I need to change, i.e. the things I wasn't happy about. And it would keep me in this pattern of feeling small, feeling like it's never enough, like I still have so much work ahead of me, and I was just feeling discouraged and unmotivated. I think part of that is what led to all the binge watching I was doing. And when I shifted focus towards the forgiveness towards myself, I noticed that I'm doing a lot of things right. Simply bringing up the conversation on forgiveness is such a win. It's a win because how many people really talk about forgiveness? When someone else hurts us, how often do we talk about it? So I'm doing that right. I'm taking care of myself. I'm not acting out of fear. I read every day. I eat healthy. I exercise every day. I make sure to do what feels good, not just in the moment, but over the long term, emotionally, physically, spiritually. I talk to and spend time with the people that I know and that I love and care about because they also build me up. I'm doing a lot of things right. I think one of the best things that I do is I take action because ideas are one thing. Everybody gets ideas. But what really makes someone stand out is whether or not you act on those ideas. Execution is power. I'd rather be in a room of 10 people with mediocre ideas who act on those ideas than to be in a room with hundreds of people with genius ideas that don't do anything about them. Ideas are great. I also know that even mediocre ideas built on one another can evolve into incredible ideas. Those guys with the mediocre ideas, they know that those ideas are mediocre at first, but because they take action, they could find what works and evolve them into incredible ideas. But sometimes we don't even know what is a mediocre idea or a great idea until we take action. So some people can truly have the best idea out there in the world, but because they don't take action, they don't even know. I'm proud of myself for learning to take action, especially to overcome fear. Fear has been my guiding force in a way. What I mean by that is when I see fear, I make sure to go towards it. I make sure to go towards the fear to overcome it, to go through it, to get to the love and light on the other side of fear, rather than running away from fear. I'm so thankful that I've spent the time to cultivate the beliefs and values I've needed to be a fear buster. I've walked on fire. I've jumped out of planes. I've done so much that could have held me back because of fear, but instead I didn't let it. So I'm doing things right. I may not be doing the right things, but I'm doing things right. And if I'm not doing the right things, well, simply trying things out teaches me what direction I should go in. It teaches me what are the right things, or at least gets me closer and closer and closer. So from your strength of forgiveness, take a moment today and just notice what you're doing right. Notice what skills and what habits and patterns and mindsets that you've worked years to perfect in yourself, and give yourself a little appreciation for that. You deserve it. You put in the work, and now you're here. So take that love, take that strength, take this appreciation, and just notice how good you feel. And take that energy and bring it out into the world. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Remember to always fill up with the love. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I love you.